hello to you joining us for episode 29 of A Measure of Marketing, all about the power of customer reviews.
Excellent. How good are you at customer reviews and getting testimonials in?
Not bad, actually. I tend to ask people once a contract has ended or once our relationship sort of run its course and they've moved on to another marketing support, be it an agency or a permanent member of staff. But then I will go to them and I'll say, would you mind leaving me a review on LinkedIn? And then I use it thereafter. Some people off their own bat have done it while we're working, which actually delights me. I'm like, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
That is so delightful. I love that.
I've just done it.
What's your process then?
So I will go to a client and I'll go, would you mind, when you've got a bit of time, writing me a few words about the work that we did together, our collaboration. If you wouldn't mind doing it on LinkedIn, I can create a URL that you click through, and I've got it on my LinkedIn profile, but I'll also use it on my website and on social media. And 9 times out of 10, people are really, I haven't had anyone that said no. They've just said, oh, I may need a bit of time to do this, but then they will write the testimonial on LinkedIn, and then, yeah, I've got it forevermore to use.
Super simple.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, mine. Did you know what? I feel like a bit weird sometimes about asking for.
It's hard. It is weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. And I feel like in my head, I overthink it. And then I've got some clients where they're like long term and now we're mates. So I don't mind asking them. But if I've done like a marketing strategy, you'll understand this. But when you do marketing strategy, like I don't know, it feels like you're in a different place as a marketing consultant than when you're doing more like hands-on stuff. Period of time. Like, obviously I'm professional throughout, but like it's just a different state I find when you do strategy, and I deliver it and like we go through everything, and then I just feel gross being like, can you do me a review? Like I just feel weird about it.
It is weird because you're asking for something in return that's over and above what you've delivered and what you've been paid for. But what I would say is it's almost like when you ask someone to help you, when you don't know how to do something, people like to help other people. They don't mind. And so that's what I keep in the back of my mind. You know, the worst thing is they'll say, no, I don't have the time right now. But actually, if you know you've done the work you said you can do and you've built good rapport with them, why wouldn't they say, yeah, I'm happy to? Yeah, but it's weird. It's that you've got to get over that initial hi.
So I try and go in with I always follow up anyway, and as in like I've delivered it, invoices have been paid, and then I'll always be like, I wonder how they're getting on. So I like check in just naturally.
Yeah.
And if the conversation happens, I'll go in then and be like, would you mind? And I'll do you one too, like keep it on that. But I have I don't like when I see, I'm not a huge fan of just seeing like a testimonial of someone, like a bam, like, because it's mostly positive, like 99.9% of the time you see positive reviews, don't you? And I'm like, tell me more though. Like, give me the full detail of like how you felt before. I can see how you feel now from working with this person, but what did they do in between? Like, tell me the bits in between. Like, tell me the nitty gritty of this, how you've got to this customer review, this like 5-star customer review. And so I want to know where they started from, how they felt at the beginning of the process.
Yeah.
And see how they feel now.
Yeah.
But what was that bit in between? So like I didn't want to just provide that like, bam, Kelly did this and it was great to work with her and she's amazing. Like I don't like just providing that across my website or like my social, particularly my social posts, because you have that opportunity in like Instagram carousels and on LinkedIn, that opportunity to write more. So
Yeah.
I always preach to get more information for your business as well as to share broader, so that people get to know the full story, so that like the A to B and the transformation in between. So I set up a Google form where I also like to overanalyze stuff of my own.
I think this is a you problem, Kelly, but keep going.
But where I asked them those questions. So how did you feel at the start of the process? What was the problem? Like, what was you experiencing within your marketing? What didn't you know? What did you enjoy the most? Like, what was the best bit, like the that transformational bit? And then how do you feel now? And then I go into asking more questions around did the value feel enough as well? What do you think is the biggest marketing concern that small business owners have? And then at the end of this form, I have linked my Google review on it, so they can just tap the link and then write a couple of lines on my Google business profile. Because that helps me to understand how they're feeling, if I've got anything wrong and need to change anything, if I need to be providing more value. But then if I create a social media post out of that, I can then say, they felt like this to start with. I know the work that I've done with them. They felt like this at the end, so that my prospective customers can be like, I feel like that too now, where they used to feel. I want to feel like that now, how they feel since working with Kelly. And I can see what that looks like in between. I can see that she does this with them, she does that, she spends time with them, etc., etc. So like really padding out a customer review with more detail for your prospective client, but asking them questions for you, so that you've got some more meat on the bones, essentially. A very non-vegan term there.
Okay, so I think that's quite smart. So my thinking then, to ask you some questions, good question. What percentage of your clients complete that form? Like all of them? They're happy to.
Yeah.
So I think then you've got almost a merger of a testimonial and the start of a case study, because actually the testimonial is the kind of what grabs people's attention, and the narrative, whether it be on your website or social media, helps people understand where that testimonial came from. But that insight that you're getting from your client is almost the start of a case study, where you outline where they needed help, what you did, how they feel afterwards, and the value that they've got from you. So you've almost got that middle kind of ground of a bit of one and a bit of another.
Yeah. But it also helps me to write LinkedIn posts as well. So sharing about what you've done with the customer, you've obviously got something where you can quote people and tag them in, but you get their perspective on it rather than just your own. So like a couple of my past clients have answered that question of how they felt before. And one of them I've worked with for over a year, and I was like, I didn't realize you felt like that. Like, I didn't realize that concerned you. You didn't come across like that. And they didn't tell me that at the start, but they actually shared a little bit more about their worries about marketing and what they felt they didn't know, or like how they felt about themselves in relation to it. So yeah, it's just helpful to, I feel like it grabs more detail. I've got opportunity to write content in various different ways, or bulk it out with more of my stuff for case studies. The question about the value versus the price that you've paid, icky, like that's a gross one to read, but luckily they've all been fine so far.
Why
Why did you put this on here? Stupid girl. Take it off right now.
Probably more icky than when people ask you what your day rate is and you have to tell them, but I think you get used to it, don't you? The more you ask, and then as it goes through.
Yeah.
I think people forget how important testimonials are and how much customer feedback can really help you, because you've got such a smart way of finding out what you could do better. And that's what customer reviews are for. So it's for value, and it's for positive feedback and social proof for potential customers to kind of see, the value, be it on TripAdvisor or Trustpilot or Google business pages. But I think what can be really wholesome is to go that bit deeper and know, well, what could I do better? And I think that there's the social proof and the relationship building, and then there's, okay, well, how can I turn this into something more for potential clients?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, it's about balancing the, can you write me a review versus, now I've got to fill out this humongous form and actually put my brain into action, and I don't know how to do that. But I think also, like, having a form that doesn't go publicly straight away online allows them to free talk a little bit, if that makes sense. Like, they don't feel like the absolute pressure to write everything perfectly on that form, because they know only I'm seeing it as well.
Yeah, and I suppose you have to balance then, or ask their permission for what you can't share publicly. Because I know whenever I've gone and stayed at a hotel or I've ate somewhere and I get a follow-up email from the booking or whatever else saying, would you write us a review? There's one thing writing a public review, and then there's when they ask for all the feedback and then go, this will be shared publicly. I'm like, well, you probably don't want what I've got to say to be shared publicly, even though I'm going to feedback in a constructive way that I waited too long for my meal, or this was cold, or I didn't like the waiter's response to my, normal question or whatever. I think people forget there's public facing, and then there's what actually helps you to run your business or provide a service better than before.
Yeah, exactly.
Like customer research.
Yeah, exactly. And it is a customer client feedback form rather than a testimonial, but I've got the base there, then I can obviously rewrite and change and make into different pieces of content. I actually got that kind of idea and my perspective on customer reviews from reading someone else. I can't remember who it was now, but it was probably some YouTube video, because I lived most of my life over there, about like transformation or something about seeing results online. And I feel this a lot and do bang on about it a lot. But when you see someone say, I've worked with this person and now they're fully booked with clients, and they've got bringing in this much income each month, my instant thought is like, how did you do that? How? And like, well, what did it look like before? Because that makes a huge difference to actually then what the journey is of working with that client of yours. So if they're fully booked now, like completely fully booked and maxed out because they've worked with you, but they were 75% booked already when coming to you, that's different from somebody who's 2% booked out from working with you. Does that make sense? Like,
no, say it in a different way for me.
So if you're seeing online that I'm sharing with you, Lisa has worked with me and now she's fully booked out with clients.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
We've been working together for the last 2 months. This is my client testimonial that I'm putting out there. Lisa says she loves working with me. It's been amazing. She's so excited that her business is thriving. I hate that word. And she's super excited that she's fully booked out. Not a great testimonial, but you get my point. But if Lisa had come to me 3 months ago and her business was already 75% booked, like, that's different from if she'd come to me without any clients at all, as in like the work that I've done for her looks very different. So you need to share that like context of
Definitely. Yeah, it is. It's the context. And I think if most of the testimonials that I receive, the context is there in that I rid the overwhelm, bring order to chaos, help people structure their marketing, help them move forward. And I would say most of my testimonials include that level of sentiment in the review. So the context is there, but I agree, if people start saying, oh, she's fully booked, or now is, she's making X amount of whatever else, how is that better or is that worse? Or, it's understanding that, I suppose. But I think at the end of the day, it's the testimonials are there in a way to do a multitude of things. Your kind of validity of what you do and how you help, or for anybody's service or for their business, also teases a potential customer to go, okay, well, actually, they do know what they're doing. This is a business I want to work with, or that I need, or need some support, or it gives people that tease to want to know more. Because a testimonial in a way can hook you in to start a conversation to go, oh, you helped this person, or your product helped them deliver this, or you have partnered with them and you've conquered, whatever else. How could you do that for me? It's a good conversation starter. And I think people just forget the power of it. You can use it in so many different ways. SEO, paid media.
Yeah, maybe I think like I'm just way more nosy. See, another example, I've got a friend who I've met through business, and she helps people with mortgages. And I think, like, I don't need a mortgage right now, but I know there'll be a time in the future where I will, because we'll move. But I don't know what she like fully does. And I see her sharing customer reviews, and I've messaged her and said, tell me more. Like, let them know what you've done in that process. Like, I know you'll be amazing because you're an amazing friend already, and like, you're hilarious, you're very funny. And I can see you're trustworthy. But from a mortgage perspective, what do you do? Like, how did you make them feel super safe, super cared for? How were you on it? And then you got them what they needed at that point in time. And I
no, go on.
I was going to say, I'm thinking of that from in the future, I might want to work with you. So I'm like, just give me a bit more insight into what it is that you've actually done for that couple, because I might need that help later.
And you're right to do that. What I think holds people back, particularly if you're a small business owner, is one, having the confidence to share more behind that testimonial and the narrative and the context. And I think a testimonial, and having that, oh, will you write me a testimonial? Getting through that first of all, then putting it out there. For some small business owners, if you're one person band, is actually hard enough. But then to be able to put the messaging with it to explain more, that and I know this from some of the journeys I've gone on with other clients of how hard that is. That's a self-esteem thing as well, that they're having to really put themselves out there. And even when they do manage to do that, they say what they did rather than how they helped and what the value was behind it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Rather than, okay, well, this is why I did it. The problem I solved, as we always say. So I think there are stages when it comes to customer reviews, testimonials, case studies, asking a client to run a webinar with you to share more about their business and the product or service you delivered to help them. Now that's another level. And it's almost like you've got to put on these, big pants and go, right, will you help me? And I think for our audience, those listening, those watching, that can be really hard. It can be really tough.
Yeah. And there is that point of like me asking them questions in a form because I don't want to ask them myself. and
Yeah.
the form does it for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, having worked in marketing for so long, you know that people do ask them and
Yeah.
questions, and it's okay to ask them. But yeah, other people won't
Yeah.
feel comfortable doing that. But
Yeah. And yet there's so much value in doing it, you know, from all the reasons that we just shared. And it just takes one email to go, can I get, especially if you're just starting out, to get your first testimonial, to be able to proudly put it on your website or on a social carousel or something,
yeah.
you know.
And I do think, like, if you are just starting out asking for testimonials or little one-liners of feedback, don't do the form, like, because
Yeah, make it personal.
yeah, because there's that point of also when I've got that form, I'm like, now I've got to do something with it, and
Yeah.
I've got to make content out of it. Obviously, if they click through on my form and they put something on Google, my Google business profile, great, like it's ticked that box, it's out there, it's done. I would always say get it onto your Google business profile or LinkedIn, one of those two public spaces first, because then you can just copy and paste it over onto other things like you do.
Yeah.
Don't give yourself more work by getting them to complete a form and then and always, like, don't just do the form without asking them to put something public as well, because you've got to ask them. You can't copy and paste it and put that on there yourself. You've got to get them to do that.
Yeah.
So start there small and work backwards if you want to create a case study.
Yeah.
If you're not comfortable doing the form approach.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And I think when you're first starting out, it's hard to get those testimonials until you've done the work. But one tip I would give is if you have any feedback or testimonials from work you've done when you were employed or when you're in the corporate world, for example, you can still use them as kind of character testimonials, and you can put them on your site. Or say if you open up a coffee shop, someone might, you know, say a bit more about you and your personality as a coffee shop owner. You can put that on there. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just how it's perceived, how you communicate it, whether it is a client testimonial on a dedicated page or whether it's at the bottom of your homepage and someone talking about, you know, how you've helped them in the past, what a good communicator you are. So there's ways you can do it to start building up that social proof.
Yeah, I remember when I first started in my business, you have references, don't you, for your CV and things like that. But on LinkedIn, I found a few trusted people that I'd worked with in various capacities over the years and dropped them a note and asked them if they'd do the is it recommendation?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and asked them if they'd fill that out, and then I got back for them. And actually some of those recommendations, those words, I've got on my website actually, because they are more character related than like marketing related, and they were nice. So
good. I don't know you very well, do they?
I rinse it. Really?
Sorry, I take it back, everybody. She's lovely.
I am lovely. Yes, so definitely make the most of the self-development aspect of being brave and asking. And I guess even if it wasn't a great, like, if you think that something could have been different, I have been brave in the past and still asked if, like, I was like, oh, this client project could have gone better from my perspective, or the communication could have been better, or they could have done something better. I've still put myself out there and asked. Turns out that the review came back as lovely as the rest. So that's nice, but it's a chance to make a difference in your business. And also to reflect as well on certain experiences or certain processes that you have or certain people that you work with, etc. Always helps.
Yeah. And any customer review, you can learn from it. You know, even if you were to take all your customer reviews, if you're a big, you know, small to medium business on Trustpilot or on Google Business, you can review all of them and look at the sentiment behind them, or what's, you know, a common theme, what can you use to tell a story, or I think customer reviews, customer service, if you're operating in a consumer world, that the customer reviews and that feedback that you get is so important. Every touch point, you know, can bring about feedback or can bring about comments. Whereas if you're working in the business world, that how you exit a project or how you exit a contract has such a knock-on effect to asking for a testimonial or feedback. So that customer service wraparound when it comes to marketing is so important. We've spoken about this before, that, you know, the two kind of merge a little bit.
And one other thing I forgot to say was, when you look at your customer reviews, you can pick out like keywords or themes, like you've said, throughout them, where they say things about you, things about how they feel. So I did this with a client recently. I looked at all their testimonials across their website that they had, and they've obviously got a bunch more as well. But everyone kind of said something like of a similar tone because of the industry of my client, which was expected. But then what we did was we were writing some new web pages or like email comms, and we took that wording and like weaved the customer's words into our marketing message.
Yeah,
so
nice.
Prospective customers, it kind of touches them in the same way, as in like, oh, like that's how I want to feel also. And yeah, it's a bit more, it was more of an emotional industry, but it's like, yeah, that's how I want to feel. So your customers are actually using the words to attract in similar people, if that makes sense. So
really clever. Yeah. I know of a company who have taken all their testimonials or their feedback and put it into ChatGPT and asked it to review the sentiment, to analyze it for how they could do things better, to provide kind of a, you know, whatever you want to know from it, that data analysis. It can help you so much, as you say, just weaving in that wording or that messaging, or even just having a shorter paragraph that sums up how clients feel about the service that you've offered or their business, you know, what made it for those clients. It's, yeah, don't underestimate data analysis behind all of this once you've got a fair few.
Yeah, definitely agree. And out of that as well, like once even if you are using AI to analyze, then yeah, like weave it into your social content and that sort of stuff too. Like it's,
yeah, you're smart with it.
Yeah.
The power of customer reviews.
There you go. So our next episode 30, is another guest, which is exciting. Someone that I've known for quite a few years. Very fun. I think we'll have a laugh. Is going to be on paid advertising. So yeah, quite a detailed topic, but he will definitely make it a fun one. So that is dropping soon. Episode 30. Exciting.
Yeah, it would be good to tap into his knowledge. Paid media is often something my clients want to do but don't always have budget for, so it'd be interesting to see his top tips on how that can be done.
Yes, and also for me is when to do it. Like a lot of people either want to start with it, or like when is the right time, and like at what position of a business do you need to be to do it as well. I always wonder that.
I always think it's if you've got something to launch or something new, or you want to tap into a different audience that may not be the one that you currently have. But a question for our guest.
Hold that thought. Fabulous. Thank you for everybody who is listening to this episode. Please give our Spotify and YouTube a little like and subscribe. That would be super handy. And we'll see you in the next episode.
See you soon. Thank you, Kelly.
Bye, Lily.
Goodbye.